Hi everyone, my name's Anne-Marie. Welcome to this card making project. Now in this project we're going back to basics. I've been asked by somebody who's never card made before. They've never made anything like this before, but they've bought one collection and they wanted to know where to start to make a card. They have a few of the items, the essential items, 3D foam, card blanks, things like that, but they don't know where to start with an Anna Griffin design collection. So what I thought was we're going to use the Lila collection and we're going to make a very simple card with hardly any extras. And I will say I've used a bow that's extra and I've used my own handmade stamp for the back of the card to say that I've made it. So as we go through it, if I do think of anything else that we've used that's extra, which I don't think there is, it's just the card base, the 3D foam, double-sided tape, a bow and the handmade stamp. The rest is completely the Lila designer collection. I will always put everything on my blog that we use, so please be sure to check my blog out. If you are a beginner, there's so many videos on there to show you different techniques, different projects. Please be sure to check it out. If you are an advanced crafter, this project might not be for you, so you might want to skip on to something else. However, it might be a nice refresher or a different way to use the Lila kit that you've not thought of. Please be sure to sort of give me the like, the thumbs up on YouTube. Let me know if you enjoy my videos. If you want to contact me, please feel free. Don't ask me questions on YouTube though, because I can't answer them there. I have a problem with my account, so there's a glitch on it. Okay, so our card base is a 7x5" card base. This is my own personal favourite size of card. For my friends across the pond, they call it a 5x7. It's a normal ivory card base, folded in the middle. It's a factory fold. So what we do is we use a tool called the bone folder, and this is from the Anna Griffin Essential Toolkit. And I simply take my bone folder along the edge to make sure that that crease is nice and sharp. So for any new viewers, that gives us a professional crease along the edge of the card, so it'll stand up nicely on a mantelpiece or a windowsill. I've used a rubber stamp that says handmade by on the back. I've filled my name in. Now I personally put the dates on mine because then I know the date that the project was used. You don't have to put the date on. It's just something I'm doing for my video projects this year, or I'm trying to remember to do. Now, as always, if you've never seen one of my videos before, we're going to do the inside first. I always have done the insides for as long as I can remember, because I feel the inside is the personal bit. Because when you give a card to a person, it's the inside they read. They stand it up on the windowsill or mantelpiece and you can see the outside, but the inside is what you've written to them. And I think sometimes that needs to be nearly as pretty as the outside. The inside for this is quite a simple inside, but it's a great way to start if you've never made a card before, because don't forget, we're going through the basics and the step-by-step if you've never done it. So the inside, or the insert as it's sometimes called, we're going to make an inside insert panel. And by doing that, we've cut out a square of cardstock, I should say a rectangle of cardstock, that's 1/4 of an inch smaller all the way around to the previous layer. Now, if you were using these for the front of the card, you would call it a matten layer, but this is just a layer for the inside. I've tapped it with an ink pad, so the ink pad isn't included in the kit, and it's one of my own ink pads. Just so happens I've used a purple one because that will match. You don't have to do this if you haven't got any. If you've got ink pads of any colour that kind of might match, even a black one would work with this card. I've got flat double-sided tape on the back of this. Now, you could use a tape runner, you could use any flat glue. but I'm using double-sided glue, double-sided tape. Now when I say flat glue, I mean anything that's not 3D foam, pop dots, things like that. You might prefer to use a wet glue. That might be your choice. I like using glossy accents as well, if I'm using a wet glue, or the tonic white glue. So, but for this we're using the flat double-sided adhesive. So I've popped the insert panel into the centre of the card, and I've just pressed it down to make sure that it's stuck. Next, I've taken some embellishments from the Lila kit. I've got the flat tape on the back of them again, and I'm simply going to add the tag, well, it's the swallowtail, to the bottom of the card. And then I've cut out 2 flowers from one of the Lila papers. I've got double-sided tape on the back, and I'm simply going to add the flowers over the top of the swallowtail, and like so. There we go. That is the inside of our card done. We're not adding a sentiment, we're not adding a rubber stamp, because we're just using the Lila collection. That's going to work perfectly with our outside. So there's enough room on there for a nice message, to, from, etc. Now the outside of the card, before we make it, we're going to just use our bone folder again to make sure that crease stays nice and sharp from us making the inside. The first layer for the front of our card is a full size piece of Lila, and I've cut it to be 1/4 of an inch smaller than the actual card. So I'm saying it's 1/4 of an inch smaller, so around the outside it's 1/8 smaller than the actual card itself. I've popped that on through the centre of the card, and that creates a card base. Next, I've taken one of the Lila purple cardstock, and I've cut out another layer, and I've actually used, now I'll be honest, I've used the Spellbinders dies to cut this. You could use your ruler and your paper cutting machine, something like that, a trimmer, to be able to do this. You don't have to do it with the aperture in. You could use it as a full sheet. I've cut the aperture out, and I'm simply attaching it using 3D foam on the back. I'm actually going to turn it round because I want it the right way up. You have to remember flowers grow upwards. That's a good tip to be able to get things the right way around. I don't want anybody writing to me to say, oh, you've put that on the wrong way around, because it's happened before. So that's our first layer on our base. Now my second layer I've cut out again, and I've cut it out with a smaller size die and a larger size centre die, because this will create a layer upon a layer, like a window, shall we say, a tunnel. I've put this on 3D foam as well, and I'm simply going to attach that over the top of our previous layer so that you can see the purple edge through and around the edge of this layer. So you get the purple here and you get the purple here. So it's kind of like a tunnel system. Next, from the Lila collection, I've taken some of the embellishments. Now these are the gold flowers, and I've got 3D foam on the back of them and flat tape. So the foam is here in the middle and the flat tape is at the edges, because I knew they were going to hang over the side. Oops, sorry people, I've just knocked the camera. It's going to hang over the sides of the card. I've also got another one of the gold embellishment leaves, and I'm going to add this to the top of our card like that. Again, flat tape at the ends, and it was 3D foam in the middle because I knew it was going to sit proud in the centre. I've then taken 2 of the flowers from the Lila collection. I've got 3D foam on the back, and I've also got it in different heights because I want it to sit proud over the top of the previous layer, and I'm happy for it to dip in the centre, and I'm happy for it to just go over the top of those leaves and cover them like that and just show the ends. I've taken one of the swallowtails from the pack of embellishments from the Lila collection, and I had 3D foam on the back of that. I've also taken one of the sentiment stickers. Now I've got 3D foam on the top, but I've left the bottom as a sticker because as this is going over the swallowtail is higher than the previous layer, so I want the sticker to overhang it. So I want the sticker higher at one edge because then it will look as though it's flat over the swallowtail. Hope that makes sense. And I can press that down. And then the one thing that's not in the collection is the little gold bow that's going to sit underneath our sentiment like that. And that is our card finished. So we've used all of the Lila collection. We've not used any of the other dies or embellishments. It stands up perfectly. We're not going to need any extra padding for the envelope to keep it together or to protect it. There's not too many layers on it. If you're worried about the postage, don't use as much of the 3D foam. Have your layers flat. But I think that is such a pretty card using one kit, bit of clever cutting for the inside for the inside of the apertures on the front of the card. If that is a little bit more advanced than you are capable of at the moment, then just go for the flat layers. It's just a good way to begin your card making and crafting experience, and it's a pretty card, and whoever receives it will love it that you've taken the time and trouble to make it for them. And believe me, nobody is ever going to turn around and go, oh my, that is just awful. Nobody's ever going to say that you've made an awful card, whatever you do, because they're so grateful for receiving something that you've taken time and trouble to create for them. So I hope this has helped and it gives you an idea of what you can create just using one collection, even though you might need a couple of tools just to help you get, to achieve it, to get to your end target, as it were. Feel free to let me know what you think. Feel free if there's a technique you'd like to see or there's something that you'd like me to cover. I can add it to my list and we can see what we can do. So I'd just like to say thank you so much for watching. I shall see you next time.